I'm Hikey Bikey, and this is the Helinox Chair Zero. Now this chair retails for $140 American at REI, and it retails for 200 Canadian at MEC. It's an awesome chair, but it comes at a hefty price point. One of the things that I like the most about this chair is it's one that you'll take with you on every adventure, whether you're just going for a day hike or you're going out for a night or two. It's hard to leave it at home because it weighs so little. Normally a backpacking chair, whether it's one that's from Amazon for 40 bucks or one from Decathlon that's at a discount, those things run you $40, $50, so you save quite a bit, but it's hard to justify taking it with you when it weighs so much. Most of those backpacking chairs you'll get from a discount retailer, they run around 2 to 2.2 pounds, while this one is only 1 pound. A lot harder to leave at home, especially if you're going to be spending a day out in a beautiful scene like this one. Now, one other good thing about this chair is that it sets up super easy. So this is the Helinox Chair Zero when it's set up. It's made out of a super light but super durable material. It feels like some sort of nylon, and it feels like it's a ripstop nylon. I have seen some people, if they're sitting a little too close to a campfire, can get an ember on it and it will burn and melt with an ember, so it's definitely a synthetic fiber. The frame of the chair is made out of a super lightweight aluminum material. Now, this is one of the downsides to the chair, is this particular frame, as much as it doesn't feel like it's gonna break, it certainly moves around a lot. So when you sit in the chair, it flexes, it moves around, and it feels like there's an opportunity for a point of failure. Now, I don't think it'll actually fail. I don't think that this chair will break unless you far exceed the weight limit. It doesn't inspire 100% confidence the way a heavier chair might, but again, I don't think it's going to break. The structure of it, it feels super durable in the sense that it's well made, well put together. And I'll take a moment to show you what it looks like when you sit in it, how it moves around. One of the downsides to this particular chair, the feet tend to sink into soft ground. So Helinox makes an accessory that you can buy where it's a ground sheet that goes between the four corners of the 4 feet, and it'll stop you from sinking into softer ground like sand or loose rock or muddy ground. But that thing that they sell, I believe it costs $50, and it also weighs an extra 300 grams. So you're basically taking your chair from a 1 pound chair to a 1.5 pound chair. So if you're sitting on something that's a little bit softer, I've made a solution that I think works great for this chair, and it costs nothing. I made it out of an IKEA bag. We'll have a seat in the chair and we'll talk about how it feels. One of the things about this chair that might be difficult for some folks is that if you have wider hips, the way the material sits on your body tends to squeeze your hips. So again, if you have wider hips, this might not be the best chair. It does collapse in on your body and it feels a little bit tight, but it also feels pretty comfortable. You can kick back quite a bit. If you're sitting around a campfire, you could sit up and you can cook with it. Again, it feels really comfortable. After a long day of hiking, I would rather take the weight penalty to have the chair than to sit on a sit pad, which can be pretty uncomfortable on hard rock or on cold ground. This keeps you off the ground, keeps you warm, and it's a lot more cozy. It's a lot more supportive than a sit pad or leaning up against a tree. You know, I think we've all gone backpacking and didn't bring a chair and found a pretty uncomfortable situation. So I'll show you what the flex looks like on the back of this chair when you sit in it, and hopefully it'll be nice and clear in the video. So when you sit in this chair, it does tend to move around quite a bit. You can see the back of it moving. You can see it flexing around. It doesn't feel like it's going to break, and it almost feels kind of like a rocking chair. But if that bothers you, I would stay away from this chair because it will move around regardless of how much you weigh. So because it's winter, the ground here is a little bit frozen. But typically this would be the type of ground that you would sit on with this chair and the legs would sink into it if it was a little bit of a softer ground. Again, it's kind of frozen, but if this was the middle of summer, it would sink. So what I did was I created a ground sheet of my own. And basically what I did was I took an IKEA bag. I used the straps to make little pockets for the foot of the chair and all four corners are perfectly spaced out. And what this will do is it'll evenly distribute the weight of the chair. Instead of directly onto the 4 feet, it'll be over a much larger surface area. Now I made this pretty tight, and I believe you'll want to make it tight too if you make one for yourself. Otherwise it won't work properly. And there you have it. Every single foot is sitting inside of it. It's got its own little pocket there. Hard to see, but every foot is sitting inside of a little pocket on the edge. And when you set this down, it'll prevent the chair from sinking into soft ground. So a little bit of a DIY project, but instead of spending $50 for a piece of equipment that weighs a half a pound, it cost me $1 for a bag from IKEA and half an hour or an hour of my time. Good DIY solution. So at the end of the day, at the retail price of this chair, coming in at 140 US or 200 Canadian, if you are outside a lot and you're backpacking, hiking, and you want to take it easy, this is a great option. At the retail price, I would still buy it. If you can wait and find it on sale, it's always a better option to save a couple of extra bucks and spend that on more backpacking equipment. So this is the Helinox Chair Zero. It weighs 1 pound. I love the chair. I take it with me every time I go hiking, every time I go camping, whether it's the winter or the summer. And it just helps me enjoy the outdoors rather than being rushed on a hike. You know, how many times have you made it to the summit of a mountain, spent 10 minutes and turned around right away because there was nowhere nice or comfortable to relax? With this chair, you'll spend more time enjoying beautiful views and beautiful scenes like the ones we've got behind me.